And maybe it's not deprogramming, maybe it's rehabilitation.
This season is it.
Yeah, this is good. I'm happy with our direction for sure.
Yeah, people like it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I got to turn the page on my notes for today. These are still Dwayne notes.
Yeah, he was good.
He was so good. You see, I got this little podcast.
You showed me. You sent me a picture of it when you got it. And now you out here using it.
I am. So, and I thought too, just to have. Once we get big, so there's all the information I can fill out about the technical stuff, the date we record, our name, whatever, notes, who's got the ad, that kind of stuff, and then notes for whatever, and then thoughts about the episode or whatever, so that when we're big, we can auction this off on eBay for like $50,000.
Yes. When our podcast network is hitting.
For real. And listen, big dreams.
Yeah.
Gotta have them. Welcome to Season 2, our second special episode of the Strongly Worded podcast. I am Sue O'Lear.
And I am Johnny Hampton.
And we are coming at you from our dining room studio to bring you another special edition inauguration style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, I will say, like Johnny said so eloquently in Season 1, we are not a political podcast, but we are living through a political time, and there are certain big things that happen in the world that we need to interrupt this podcast with a special message.
Yeah.
And so we thought we would spend a few minutes today talking about our thoughts post-inauguration.
Yes, the special message today is Trump is gone.
Lovely day, part 2.
Yes, he's out of here. Got on what did he get in a helicopter?
He got on Air Force One.
Did he?
He was still the president.
Oh, that's right. He got on Air Force One. And then when they got off in Florida, his wife was like, yo.
She was in this like Gucci dress. She changed clothes.
He's like, F this. He went and waved to the camera. She went straight to the car. Like, yo, I'm done.
It did. I mean, I wonder how long they'll stay together now.
You know, he got money. They're going to stay together for a while.
I don't know. I mean, he's got a couple exes.
Yeah, but they're about to make big money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to make big money now.
So, I don't know where we want to start. Do we want to start on... I took the day off. I took Inauguration Day off.
I could not because I had to do some things at work, so I listened to it all day. I do wish I could have seen Trump's speech, in which was insane when he left, talking about all the great things.
All the great things he'd done.
That he had done, which... Hey, listen, you know, we can debate a lot of things, but your record is your record. There's no health care plan.
Still waiting on that.
There's no wall built by Mexico. We don't have any great trade deals. Unemployment is higher than it was when he left due to COVID, he always says, but he mishandled COVID, which led to the unemployment rate going up.
Yeah.
So the only thing really that's better is the stock market, which he does not really have control over.
He doesn't. And also, the stock market doesn't really matter to the average human living here. I mean, most people who are busting their hump to pay their rent aren't concerning themselves with their stock profile.
Right. The stock market is not the economic indicator people think it is.
Right.
Stock market could be booming and dudes are still struggling.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was happy that he was gone and it was a relief. And, you know, then the inauguration began.
I don't want to get to the good part yet. I still want to talk about inauguration morning a little bit.
Okay.
I took the day off. Like I said, I stayed home. I did watch Trump's speech, and you and I messaged through some of that. I should have tweeted like you, because we had some good zingers back and forth.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And I was watching, I flip around, but I watch a fair amount of Fox News.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why you subject yourself to that, but...
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. And, I said it on Facebook that day. I have people I care about and love very much, and that's their main source of information. So I do watch a little bit to see what they're hearing, to hear what they're hearing.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, kudos to you. In all honesty, I do watch CNN, but I don't watch a lot of MSNBC either because they lean too much to the left, and Fox leans too much to the right. So,
I watch CNN in the evenings. I watch MSNBC in the mornings just because I like Joe.
Oh,
I like Joe Scarborough.
yeah.
Actually, I just lied to you. I like Rachel Maddow too. I like Rachel.
Oh, everyone loves Rachel Maddow, but I don't watch her. I just don't. I don't watch MSNBC just because of that fact, though. But I just looked at my phone because I was sending some stuff on Facebook during that time, and he left to Frank Sinatra.
My Way,
which is one of my favorite Frank Sinatra songs, but. When you wreck the country, I don't know if I would leave to My Way. It's just, I don't know if that was a smart thing to do. I
don't think he's concerning himself with smart.
Oh, yeah.
What we think is smart, the smart way to go.
So listening to his speech, I had 2 tweets on the Strongly Worded Pod. Oh, the Strongly Worded P. At Strongly Worded P. Over 400,000 died from coronavirus, an insurrection at the Capitol. But hey, at least we got the Space Force. He talked about the Space Force.
He talked about Space Force.
This guy said, and I on the season finale of Trump, on the season finale of President Trump, he said, and I don't know the exact quote, but it was something like, a normal administration couldn't have got the Space Force done, but we got it because we weren't a normal administration. Nobody cares about the Space Force.
Nobody cares about the Space Force.
What is this, Independence Day? Are they coming? What's happening?
Right. He said the same thing about the vaccine, that his administration got it done in 9 short months as compared to the years and years that it would have taken anybody else to do.
So, listen. I have thoughts on vaccines and stuff like that. No bad thoughts, but it always shocks me when people say, "Well, how did they get it done so fast?" Well, it is 2020 and 2021. Maybe technology and scientific advancements, and I'm sure some of the money helped that he set aside, but scientists got the vaccine done. And I remember way back when we were talking, and you were just like, Trump doesn't seem to get public service.
He's not a public servant.
Everything is
transactional.
And it's me. You were not in the lab doing anything with these vaccines. Just giving money to something doesn't mean it's going to get solved. Otherwise, we'd have an AIDS vaccine. So, he wants to take credit because he's spiraling and he wants history to remember him well, but it's not going to remember him well. We know that.
Commentators that morning were already talking about whether unity would be possible. And the Fox commentators, the morning show, I don't like those guys. More negative than even throughout the rest of the day. But it's like the way they were reporting that morning was like something was going to swoop in and make Trump not have to fly away on that airplane.
Yeah, there were people up to the very end who thought that somehow he was going to still be president, which that's delusional thinking. You're not in your right mind. We had an election. You could not like Biden, and that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I got people that I still think are good friends that voted for Trump, that I know voted for Trump. It's the delusional thinking that I don't like. It's you telling me that the election was stolen with no facts. That's because you couldn't be bothered to stay up late to watch the count. If you stayed up late like me, you remember, I was like, I don't know, this thing might not be over yet. Based on what actual people were telling you as the facts were coming in. So that delusional thinking is ridiculous to me. Like I never thought anything was going to happen. They would have dragged his ass out of there.
One of the things that I've said previously was in talking about Trumpism or the Trump supporters and the insurrectionists. It's like how a cult operates, and you didn't like that.
No, because I think it gives them an out. Because Trump does not make you go to the Capitol. He can inspire it, but in the end, you got to make a choice.
Well, that's what any cult leader does.
In the end, you got to make a choice. And
in the end, those who followed Manson made a choice. Manson didn't kill a single person.
Right.
Right?
But when Trump is talking, he's not saying go to the Capitol and take shit off Nancy Pelosi's desk.
He's coming pretty close.
Coming pretty close is not the same as doing it.
Yeah.
You see, I don't want to give these
other people's fervor that takes them over the...
Right. I don't want to give these people an out like, oh, I was controlled by him. Nah, you wasn't controlled by him. You made a conscious decision, and I hope you go to jail.
I do hope those things, too. But I also think, me bringing it up again to make the point, and Fox was talking about it that morning, already offended by it, I think there's a certain amount of deprogramming that has to go on. These people need to understand... These people need to get back to a place where they understand that facts exist, that science exists.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. For me, we're always finding a way to make privileged people somehow victims. And that, to me, like when you say they're part
and
of
that's what it does when I say that.
To me.
All right, I hear that.
So, like, that line of thinking never occurs when we're talking about a kid from the hood who does some crime. They don't say, oh, well, look how he grew up. That's why he's doing this. No, you just say he's a criminal.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I'm not giving them the out. These dudes are criminals. Whatever made them do it, they did it. Now, if they need to be deprogrammed, you're probably right.
Well, and maybe it's not deprogramming. Maybe it's rehabilitation. Then, right?
Like, for me, I don't ever mind if you voted for the guy. Like I said to a friend of mine, the vote is hurtful to me as a black man, but you got to make your choice, right? You make your choice. You vote for who you think is right for you and your family. Cool. All this extra stuff about, stealing the election and all that kind of stuff, that is crazy talk. So, hey, if you're one of my friends who are doing that, it's not that I'm calling you crazy, but you're talking crazy. And I don't respond to those things. Like, I see people post stuff, and I just scroll by sometimes because I'm not about to sit here and argue with you over facts. Because had Trump run the election in the same style, we wouldn't be talking about this. It's, you just want to look for a reason. But no, he lost because of his record. Yeah. And
do you think I don't know. I don't have a clear... Keep talking. I'm going to edit that out. I have a question formulating.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I don't want to give those people an out. I'm glad he's gone. His speech was trash. At the end of his speech, he said, have a nice life.
Have a nice life.
As if...
maybe I'll be back.
Yeah. My life was better before you were there. I didn't have to worry as much.
Right.
So, yes, I will have a nice life. I slept a lot better that night, too.
Well, and as soon as you saw images of that plane take flight, my shoulders, it was a
relief.
It was a relief.
Yeah, because you don't got to deal with that crap no more.
And then almost immediately, when the next round of commentators came on Fox News, they didn't say his name again. Like, once he was out of there, it was almost like some of them were relieved too.
I bet you, listen.
They have to be.
He had a hold on the Republican Party as a whole. And as I told many Republican friends of mine, he's not a Republican. Like, he's not a Republican. So they had to kowtow to a man who was a leader of their party, and he wasn't a good man. No. This ain't George Bush.
So many of them are on the record saying that out loud before
So the hypocrisy is amazing. Like, you can disagree with W, but I can't say he's a bad man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could say, oh, well, these policies didn't work out. Maybe you didn't think them through. But Trump was a bad man. And you guys gave him all that airtime and did all this stuff for him.
All that power.
Right. And you lost Senate seats and you lost the House. And it's because of him. Like, they lost the Senate, the House, and the presidency in 1 year. Like, I don't know the last time that's happened. All three of those?
Right.
I don't. So you had the majority in the Senate. Now you don't. When he started, you had the majority in the House. Now you don't. And now you don't have the presidency. So, no, I'm sure they are glad to see him going.
But you've got Amy Coney Barrett, so there you go.
Right. Who they
and what's his nuts? What's his name?
Oh,
that one that I can't even deal with.
Geesh, I can't even remember. The guy who was accused.
They walked in together.
The guy who accused him of, they accused him of sexual, Kavanaugh.
Yeah, Kavanaugh and Barrett walked into the inauguration together, which is funny to me.
Yeah, and then they threw all the damn challenges to the election, which is why I always tell, I say this all the time. People have been treating the Supreme Court as political, and I guess to some extent it is. But if the judge is any good, they got to follow the law.
Right.
So, yeah, he thought he would be, I named 3 judges. So, yeah, I'm going to go to the Supreme Court and they're going to overturn the election. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. They're not a...
And I don't even necessarily... I think that what he assumed and hoped, because, again, he's not a public servant. He's a quote-unquote businessman, so these things are transactional to him. I put you in that position.
You got to do something for me.
You got to do something for me.
Yeah, well, he found out.
Yeah, I guess that's where that stops. I think it happened at a lot of other levels, but not at that one.
No, we're not overturning the election because you say so. That's not how this works.
Right.
Well, maybe it's how it works for Lindsey Graham, but
yeah,
who's made a fool of himself.
So then he flew away.
Yes.
And we started watching people arrive, and it was glorious.
When you see the Obamas arrive.
Oh my gosh!
And
wow. Michelle won the inauguration, didn't she? Did she become president? Because I'm pretty sure everybody's talking about her.
Because her hair was laid.
Oh, my. And that belt buckle.
And you just see the interaction between the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes.
The Bushes.
Okay, so...
Well, and even Mike Pence.
Right, so, I'm not... okay, Mike Pence showed up for the inauguration, but...
Well, I mean,
okay,
he
cool.
did, but I think he at least understood... some of what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Did he understand that the election wasn't rigged? Because he didn't understand that 2 weeks ago.
But, I mean, he kind of took his hands out. Like, he didn't do what Trump wanted him to do.
Well, no, he did not. I
don't think he's a good dude.
He did it up to 2 weeks ago.
Extremes.
And so, you get this late religion after you did all the sinning. I mean,
right.
It's good that he was there.
I mean, I just feel like...
For him, to have... For his own conscience. It doesn't do anything for me.
Those last vestiges of the peaceful transfer of power.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't have hung out and gone to any of the balls if we were able to have them.
Nah, probably not. I forgot about those. That's right.
Yeah.
The inauguration ball. They didn't have that.
None of them.
That's all right. Biden would have been asleep anyway.
No. But I would have loved to have seen what Kamala would have worn.
Oh, boy. Yeah. The Kamala Harris thing was a big deal, obviously.
I just love those images of her coming in and all of these looks with her and all these other women. Just all of these,
Yeah,
we did it. It's a win for all of it. I'm giving myself chills.
Yeah,
it's a win for all of us.
I really think Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton were really excited for her.
And Lord knows Lady Gaga was.
Well,
I mean, she was so...
Yeah, she could sing.
And I mean, she came down so calmly and she thanked the person who helped her down. That, like, she was taking in that whole experience.
Well, it's a big deal.
Read her lips, saying
it's a big deal.
different things to people. And I just appreciated how what a big deal it was to her too.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
I mean, she's a big star,
Yeah.
so it's kind of cool to see her a little starstruck.
And
You know what I mean?
And she sung her heart out.
Oh, she did.
Then they put J-Lo after her.
Listen, J-Lo, I enjoyed her. She was not working with fantastic material, but she stuns.
Even if she had fantastic material, she don't sing like Lady Gaga.
Well, I don't think she has to sing like Lady Gaga.
They should have put they should have put J-Lo first. They should have found a way.
So, listen, I think J-Lo is fabulous.
Yes. Just not a fabulous singer.
I don't think she's a bad singer. She's just not Lady Gaga. We can't all be Lady Gaga.
So
And she spoke Spanish.
do you think
And she said, let's get loud. And she...
So do you think J-Lo is a good singer? Or does she
I
make
feel like I'm about to get slaughtered. But yeah,
or does she make good songs?
she makes good songs.
That's all I'm saying.
But, I mean, she was in tune. She was on pitch.
That's yeah. I mean, I'm
I mean, she
thankful.
didn't go up there and make a fool of herself.
I'm thankful she was there. Her rendition of "This Land Is Your Land."
Please. All right. First off, I was very easy to please that day because
Yes, I know you.
everybody to be.
You really was like, yo, do not ruin this.
Yes, do
Johnny,
not steal my
not,
joy.
Do not make fun of J-Lo. I'm in here watching this thing.
Her gorgeous white suit,
Yeah.
Botox-free face.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I didn't say all that about Garth Brooks because I don't think I watched him.
I
live.
like Garth Brooks.
I do too. And he used, I don't know the whole story, but I saw the tweet where he apparently used Lady Gaga's glam squad.
Is that right?
They spruced him up before he came out.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He sung, what did he sing? Amazing Grace.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Garth Brooks.
I do too.
He could have sang the dance. That's it. But no, I mean, and I think by design you have Lady Gaga, you have a J-Lo who's Latina, you have Garth Brooks who probably did not vote for Biden or is a Republican. He's trying to show, the many colors and spectrums of America.
The first time I heard Lady Gaga sing the Star Spangled Banner was at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And she was phenomenal.
she can sing.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people don't realize. Well, some people don't because of all her antics before.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. I was so glad she didn't come out in like a meat dress to do it.
Nah, she don't got to do that.
You know
what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It was just stunning to me.
Yeah, that's what separates her from, like, people used to say, oh, she's trying to be like Madonna. And I used to be like, nah, Madonna was like J-Lo.
Yeah. She made good songs.
Yeah.
And she knew how to change it up,
Yeah, she wasn't a great singer. Lady Gaga's a great singer.
I wish that Gaga would have worn something that she didn't have to hold up. Little pet peeve, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
I learned about this in theater because there was a play I was in where I had to wear a formal floor-length gown. And if it's hemmed properly, you don't have to pick up the front.
Well, she wanted to
But
look.
she's also probably nervous.
She wanted to look fabulous, and probably was nervous. I would have been nervous too, because you know how many people are watching you. That's the thing. Like, they had flags there. Yeah, I get it. There was flags there, but millions of people are watching.
I mean, yeah, there were no fewer people watching her just because they weren't there live.
Exactly.
Maybe even more.
I'm currently looking at my phone because there was something else I talked about. I want to I got it ready.
But yeah, so the performances were and I just loved watching everybody come in and greet each other, and some people wanted to hug and didn't, and some people high-fived, and some people fist bumped, and
the ceremony and the pageantry are good for those
I
types
love
of
it.
things.
I loved it.
If
And
you like politics, you like that.
And I just knew fantastic memes were going to come out of it.
Oh man! So
Even before Bernie, even outside of Bernie.
Bernie is out here getting. He's
Right.
he's everywhere.
Yeah, but I love the ones of like Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama looking at each other. Mm-hmm. I love the ones of George Bush looking at Michelle Obama, that are like, no matter, he's always going to find Michelle.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And so now after that, we got to talk about Miss Gorman,
Yes.
what is she? The youngest?
The youngest poet laureate The youngest to ever deliver, is that the benediction?
No, it's the inaugural poem, they call it.
Okay.
The benediction.
And then the benediction was after that? 'Cause they used,
who did the benediction?
I can't remember now.
It had to be a pastor, right? Benediction is I don't know. I didn't hear that part.
Okay, because I know the conversation was when they were also talking about her, so it must have gone her and then.
Yeah, she
and then the
was
benediction.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, from beginning to end.
like the quote that I put up on Facebook, for there is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Like, and she had 6 or 7 more lines like that. Mm-hmm. And I heard an interview she had with Anderson Cooper, and she was saying she had started to write the poem, and then the insurrection happened, and it didn't shock her because she already knew which way the world was going and our country was going, but it focused her a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And that poem it's probably gonna be like the greatest one ever.
And in our grief we grew.
Oh man, another good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, another good one. For people like us over the past year, that's another.
That one rang very loud and clear to me.
It hit hard, and the way she read it, how she delivered it, her tone, the inflections,
mm-hmm. Her hands.
It was just great. She looked great, mm-hmm. And again, so you start out, you got Lady Gaga, white woman, J-Lo, Latina, Garth Brooks, white man, Amanda Gorman, black woman. I mean, he did that purposely, mm-hmm. and I I don't know if the message gets across. It got across to me. Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah.
And so
I said, and join me and white people everywhere as we run to the internet to learn more.
Hey, I didn't know who she was either. So,
yeah.
It was only white people going to the internet. I had to do a little Googling myself. It's like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. 22 years old. Yeah. She's a star now.
22 years old.
I bet you whatever she does now is mm-hmm. everyone knows her now. So, mm-hmm. So that was good.
That was good. Yeah. So I watched a little bit after all of that, what would normally have been the parade and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Like, I enjoyed watching when he was the family was all in the Beast, like the car. And And they got out and walked into, kind of that half a block or quarter, mm-hmm. Into the White House. And I felt the collective, every time he'd jump off the route and go talk to somebody on the side of the route, like he talked to, who's the Today Show, NBC, whether Al Roker.
Oh, Al Roker, yeah.
Like, he jumped off to the side and spoke to Al Roker. Like, he would break away from his family and go to the side. And I felt like with all of are we going to have a security breach or this or that? Or, like, everybody was like...
I remember when Obama was walking along that car. I was like, I hope they checking for snipers.
I know.
Yeah, I know. So I know what you mean.
I know.
Yeah, it was funny. I was listening to that as he was doing it. And, CNN reporters as he walked by, can you unite the country? Like, what is he supposed to say? Like, that's not a real question.
Not at that point.
That's not even a real question.
Like, seriously, that's where the fluffy questions come in. How does it feel, Mr. President?
But even, like, what is he supposed to say?
Is he going to drop and give this thoughtful answer? He just gave a speech all about it.
No, I cannot unite the country.
Right.
Like, what is he supposed to say to that?
And I didn't realize that the president... First off, I think I said to you, I didn't realize how little airtime the vice president got because I've never been quite as interested.
You were upset about that.
For a minute, I was like, I guess I've just never been.
Nobody cares about the vice president.
I didn't care about Pence even 1%, and I mean, I didn't necessarily even really care about. I mean, Joe Biden was not top billing at the Obama. Biden inauguration.
Think about all the vice presidents. Nobody cared about George H.W. until he became president. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nobody cared about Al Gore.
No, but Dan Quayle was a commentator on one of them that day too, and he's aged very well.
Yeah, the only thing
he was like 12 when he was vice president. He was no young.
And the only thing they remember about Dan Quayle is he spelled potato wrong. Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, but I didn't realize that there is a point where the president and the vice president split off, and the president goes to the White House, and the vice president goes to, I don't remember what that building is called where those offices are.
Yeah, I mean,
But damn, she looked good walking up those steps.
And her husband, I remember he tweeted, and he was just talking about like all the women that came before him, and he's gonna, try to do as good a job as they did, because, the wives of the first lady and the vice president's wife, they do a lot. And we have Melania. I mean, Be Best was. I can't even get it out.
Be gone.
Like, wow, she's terrible. So glad they're gone.
Ripped out Jackie Kennedy's rose bushes.
That's crazy. Well, what you gonna do?
I'm certain that they didn't get thrown to the side for, yard waste day. Right?
Somebody has
somewhere.
them.
Yeah, they're coming back. They have to be coming back.
So yeah, I mean, seeing all, listening to all that, you can even listen to, like you said, Fox News seemed to be relieved. CNN, they sounded like their life was just beginning. Like Jim Acosta sounded so happy, and he was on the plane with Trump. He said he was covering him on the plane to Mar-a-Lago.
Really?
And he said, I'm hoping they don't give me a parachute. Tell me once we get up there. I was like, yo, that's hilarious.
I didn't see Barron, so you saw all the other children. And I read somewhere that they had already sort of escorted Barron out of the White House and put him on Air Force One. But I didn't even see him when they got off of Air Force One. Was it still Air Force One then? Here in Florida.
Yeah,
Which is fine. I mean, I'm not owed a piece of Barron. But.
He was, out of all the children that I can remember, the least covered. You remember the Bush girls used to get in trouble all the time, and they were always all over the Obama girls, what they were doing.
Well, and even Chelsea Clinton, I remember there was some heat because she was mentioned on an episode of Saturday Night Live.
Right, and so they didn't talk about him a lot. So good for him.
Yeah,
I hope he emerges a little unscathed. I mean, his last name is Trump, so he won't be that unscathed. But I hope it didn't.
It'll be interesting to see what becomes of him.
Yeah, I just hope it didn't derail his childhood in any way.
Well, and that's a tough dad to have. Probably even not as who's going to go down in history as the worst president the United States of America has ever seen. Because
he is going to go down as the worst. There's people who think he did some great stuff, but he's going to go down as the worst.
He is.
The Bantam Chef in Bunnell has been a community favorite for over 40 years. Food is made fresh to order with generous portions and mouth-watering variety. People come from all around to eat their fried seafood, juicy burgers, and of course, their famous fish sandwich. The Bantam Chef also serves up hot and cold sandwiches, wings, hot dogs, and more. Wash it down with their delicious sweet tea
it was interesting to see
conveniently located
even
at
the
101 East Court Street in Bunnell.
Great things
the Bantam Chef,
Biden's
home of the
speech
famous fish
and
sandwich.
Just focus on the celebratory, hopeful part of the day, which all changed Thursday morning when they started talking again about this idea of unity and what Biden has to do in order to appease these far-right people to make them feel united with their party, as if, first off, as if we owe anybody that, but second off, as if it's possible to unite with.
So recently, I got the unique opportunity to be on a community TV show. Our Community and You is called. It's on Facebook. And I was a guest of a segment, and they asked, can we heal after the insurrection? And my answer to that question is the same answer I have about my same thoughts about this unity nonsense. There are people, no matter what you say to them, are not going to unite. They are locked in to Trumpism. They don't care. They've lost friends over it. They don't care. We're not trying to reach those people. Like, who's wasting their time reaching those people?
I got a Facebook or an Instagram post I want to reference talking about this.
So, in my normal life, like I was having a conversation with my wife about something just yesterday, and she said something to me, and it was about a prior relationship, and I said to her, I just don't care if that person is angry. They're gonna be angry. I'm not trying to reach you if you can't be reached. And so the unity thing is BS to me, because Mitch McConnell doesn't want unity. Lindsey Graham doesn't want unity.
He had 4 years to show us he wanted to function as a
Right.
unified.
So why are we talking about unity now? And I posted this on Facebook, and I said when Trump won, more people voted for Clinton than Trump. Okay. She won the popular vote. Where was the calls for unity then?
Right.
Like, were you calling for unity? Did you care? So if you voted for Trump and you didn't care what the Democrats wanted, why should the Democrats care what you want now? Don't cry now because you lost. No, like I said before, if I was him, I'd try to get everything I could get done. And I
ram it through in 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know all the rules, but I know you can get stuff done through reconciliation, which doesn't really require the 60 vote. Or if you can get 10 Republicans who have come to their senses and you could work with them, I'd work with those people. I'm not working with extreme.
Because that's just it. Unity goes both ways.
Right.
Like, it's a reach in two directions.
And to me, you know what they say? The United States doesn't negotiate with terrorists. These far-right people are like terrorists.
They are terrorists.
Why would I negotiate with a person who is on board with an insurrection? Why would I do that? I'm not doing that. So these calls for unity are we lost, and we don't want you to kick our ass too badly. No, man. Like, if you're in support of the insurrection, if you're supporting people who supported that, like if you're in support of Ted Cruz or some of these other people, then you are supporting terrorism. And you're supporting this misinformation, and that's who you are. That's your character.
I have so many thoughts. I can't pick which one to speak on next, but there, there's a lot of that going around on Facebook among just the common folk too, right? Not the ones that storm the Capitol, but probably the ones who say things like, Trump's gruff. He didn't mean it. Like, it's just how he is. He didn't mean to send people to do that kind of thing. Like, it's just his personality. And so I have seen a lot of it. Like, now we need to just choose joy and be loving. And love is all you need, and it's time to heal. Like, we can take a minute to figure out what it is and discuss what it is we are actually healing from, first of all.
Right.
Because it's not a stolen election that we're healing from.
Right.
That's, we have to be clear with some of these people. That is not what we're healing from. So I posted something that said, in the coming days, watch out for the abuser's playbook, which are requests for unity and forgiveness without any apology or acknowledgement of harms caused, followed by blaming anyone who doesn't want that, And somebody that used to come to a lot of my body flow classes said, I'm so disappointed you feel that way. Healing starts with everyone. She's one that's been posting all this Trump bullshit for...
So listen.
And right after she answered that to me, it was another situation. Like, there was no conversation. Blocked.
So I wish I would have. Oh man, I wish I would have got on that. See, I just ask people questions, and my only question is, were you talking about unity the last 4 years,
right,
or were you Trump no more bullshit? That's all I want to know.
And the reason I blocked is because she knows the answer to that question.
Right.
Already.
Like, so were you talking about unity when we were protesting about unarmed black people being killed? Did you care about them?
I mean, did you care about what other people in the country thought when you were ramming through Supreme Court justices that caused absolute protests?
No, they didn't care. So you didn't say, okay, hey, Kavanaugh's causing. Can't you pick someone else?
I mean,
that the
is
left,
this really the best we've got?
right? Can you pick someone else that the left would like? No, but you want that now, and that's America though. Like I always have this saying, the reason America has never gotten to the place where we all thought it would, the loftiest goals, is because we lack empathy. So you had no empathy for 4 years, and now you want it. It's not going to happen.
Right.
I hope it doesn't happen.
And it's unifying with people who haven't even yet taken the time to admit what really just happened.
Exactly. So you don't admit what the racism was and what the Muslim ban was really about. You don't think there's systemic racism in the police department.
Your answer to kids in cages is the cages were Obama's.
Right. You don't care if some poor lady in Alabama or New York or anywhere has health insurance. You don't, but you want unity. They all. It's so funny, man. They all want unity now, but you weren't thinking about that the last 4 years. So why do you think what have you done to earn that?
We have a new press secretary.
Yeah.
Right? Saki. Ms. Saki. And she had her first, I don't know, is it a press conference?
Briefing.
Briefing.
The daily press briefing.
Yes.
That will now happen daily.
And she said she's not going to do them on Saturdays and Sundays. She's not a monster. Unless people come in on the weekends. But she was asked at her first press briefing why Biden is not more focused on Republican issues if he wants unity. And her response
her answer was
brilliant. Is the pandemic not a Republican issue? Is unemployment not a Republican issue? Are schools reopening safely not a Republican issue?
Exactly. So there's your unity right there. Get on board with this train.
Yep.
Because it's rolling.
Yeah.
And if you don't think those are important things, then what kind of American are you? What are Republican issues? Packing the courts?
Right.
So you can prosecute poor people? Is that a Republican issue?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? We need to move this country forward. And Republicans used to be about that. They used to be about personal responsibility. It doesn't seem that's the case anymore. I see people saying, oh, we can't impeach Trump because that will stir the country up again. What?
Unity without accountability is abusive. It's
what it is.
It's toxicity.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 100%. And I took the time to try to understand all the reasonings behind Trump's first impeachment, and I do believe he ought to have been removed from office. I think that was enough. But even more so now. Had a good talk with my son the other day about why it's important even though he's not president anymore. And I feel like the average person doesn't understand why it's important to go through with this. And come February 8th, the hearings will start.
If he gets impeached, he can never run again.
If he gets
convicted,
convicted,
he can never run again.
And all of those former presidential benefits are stripped away. I mean, he doesn't care about the pension, and he can hire his own security.
He might care about it because I don't think he has as much money as people believe.
Well, I've never thought he had as much money as he said he did.
So, I'm on board with that, and I would be shocked if he's not convicted. I'm gonna say he's going to be convicted because I don't think Republicans want to deal with him anymore.
No, and I think the loudest voices saying, we shouldn't do this are probably the ones who are afraid of their own
like Marco Rubio.
repercussions.
He thinks he's not going to get voted in.
He's not, because you know who's going to take his spot?
Who's that?
Ivanka. I know. I read this whole thing about how they bought this land to kind of build their home and have a compound near Miami, and she's got her sights set on because the only place that she could probably run for office and win is in Florida.
So listen, Marco Rubio, I'm here in Florida, so we're here in Florida. He's probably one of the worst senators. I can't think of a single thing he's done.
Except get vaccinated.
So, no, I don't think she's going to primary him and win. Oh, that would be hard. That'd be difficult.
Yeah, because this is probably the place where that will become the heart, I would think, the heart of Trumpism if it's going to continue to live on.
Oh, yeah, it is, because DeSantis is, our governor is like that.
DeSantis, I mean, he lives here. Florida loves the dude.
They sure do.
So, but I was thinking about, and I shared this with you too, who sort of who's coming in 2024 that's going to, whether it's the Patriot Party that they're talking about or the Republican Party or who's going to be the next one. I think that Crenshaw, is that his name?
Oh,
with the eye patch?
Yeah.
I think he's gunning.
I think in the next 8 to 10 years, maybe less, we're going to have 4 political parties. Because I think the regular Republicans are getting tired of the extremists. But I also think progressives are getting tired of center-left Democrats.
And those progressives are getting younger.
And I
love it.
Yeah, I fully expect at some point AOC to want to run for president. And when she does, I don't think this Democratic Party would be her party.
No.
I expect that to happen, and I think it should happen.
Well, I just don't think that we're any longer a country that needs an old white male president. So seriously, so, and the Republican and Democratic Party as they are right now are just that. They're the party of old white men. And I just, tell me I'm wrong, and
yeah, I mean,
I think some of these splinters are going to look like and represent more of where we're headed.
Yeah,
good or bad.
I think it's a great thing. I don't think we should have I think the 2-party system is dead. Because I was talking to one of my buddies last night. He voted for Trump the first time. We don't know what he did the second time. We can assume he voted for Trump the second time. But if he did, he probably held his nose a little bit. Not much. But he votes Republican. And he told me he thinks he is now a left-leaning moderate Republican. And he was probably always that in his actions, not in his voting. And he's just realizing it now. Like, but I've been telling him, Dave, you voting for people. You are voting for people who don't symbolize what you do. And he's like, what do you mean? What do I mean? It's 7:00 and we're in Bunnell picking up kids. None of them are white, and you are. That is something some of your friends would not do.
Well, and we have other friends that we've talked about who couldn't vote for Biden because he's a child molester and couldn't vote for Trump because of whatever. So they, but they were proud of their vote and they voted third party. It would be nice next time for that to actually be a meaningful vote.
Right. So listen, no disrespect that, whenever someone says that, the disrespect is coming, right? But when you vote third party in elections like this one, and I'm just saying like this one, because I don't think when you voted for Ross Perot, it was like that. But in this election, it's very, very clear, right? Trumpism, to me, to a lot of people, was bad, and you had Biden. So you had 2 people to vote for. You voted third party, you threw away your vote. And that's a fact.
Yep. And you just wanted to feel good about
you felt good
about taking part in the election.
Right.
So you could say you voted.
Exactly. So you did that for you, not for the country.
Not for the country, and not for you sitting in that chair.
Right.
Not for me.
Right. You did it for you. And, hey, adults have to have hard conversations. Some people don't like to hear that. But if you did that, you threw away your vote.
And you're okay with it because you're putting your I voted sticker on Facebook.
Right. and I know a lot of people. I had someone who was a Republican the first time Trump ran, and he voted third party. Now, he was in Colorado, so it ended up not mattering. But in Florida, it matters. Every election is super duper close. So when you go and vote for third party and that third party is not viable, you threw away your vote.
You threw it away.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'll still vote for candidates that I think, ultimately want to serve all the people, including the people that throw away their vote to third parties. I'm going to just scan my notes real quick and see. No, I think we hit everything I jotted down.
Yeah, I mean, so
I missed the balls. I always think that's a great way to
it's always
kind
great.
of culminate
Yeah.
things on inauguration night.
What I remember about the balls is Beyonce. Yes, I remember that. I do remember that, and I'll always remember that. So they have moments from those that we missed, and that's a shame. And I think about, just how much, because of COVID, the pageantry these people missed. Because Biden's been trying to be president for a while, and Kamala being the first woman vice president and person of color and Asian. That would have been celebrated more. The party would have been.
It would have been a hell of a party.
It would have been lively.
But I tell you, I would have loved to have been. I would have loved to have gotten in the Oval Office when they were all in there and had kicked off their shoes after the cameras all left and went
listened
home
to
and just poured a bourbon with them. And because I'm telling you, there were points that I saw Jill Biden and Kamala Harris both walking like women whose feet hurt in their shoes, because there was a lot of standing and walking. They never, they didn't sit and watch the parade go by.
And now we get down to business.
Yeah, and they did it right away. He started signing shit that night. My coworker said already 10,000 people are out of work, and I
10,000
with the pipeline.
Oh, well, yeah. So
there's always a flip side. So what's the priority there?
Yeah.
And we don't have to get into that today. I just love that he started signing shit right away.
Yeah, they working, and so we'll see what the next 4 years bring. What I hope for a concrete healthcare plan. I hope for another round of stimulus for the people who really, really need it. And I hope we do something with minimum wage. I don't know what that is though. I have different views on that. Some people believe it should be $15 in everywhere, and I'm not so sure. I don't know if Florida can support that.
Yeah.
So, but I hope they take care of things for the people.
I hope that there's a renewed focus on education. To think that we've gone through a pandemic with an education secretary, totally redefined how people are receiving their education, and our education secretary has never been an educator.
She was awful.
And someday we'll have to have a talk about that and student loans, because I am definitely a person who is not only in support of forgiveness of student loans, but also trying to find a way to make education more accessible.
But what I want to know is, if they forgive student loans, does that count Parent Plus loans too?
For you, yes, Johnny.
Because I got one, and I needed to be forgiven.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. So, to our listeners in all 9 countries.
Yeah, we hot.
We appreciate your support. We appreciate you sticking with us through this super tumultuous election season to inauguration. We aren't a political podcast, but we have to talk about it sometimes because we are connected, people. We're raising kids and we're active in our community, so it's important to know what's going on and talk about it sometimes. As always, I hope we don't turn a segment of the population off, maybe the insurrectionists, but certainly not the conservatives. You are welcome here too in the discussion, but we are definitely going to enjoy getting some things done the next 2 years is what I'm going to say, because we have midterms and they're super important. So
yeah.
You can find us on Facebook. Our Facebook group is the Strongly Worded Pod group. You can find us on Instagram. We're coming to TikTok, babies. I am figuring out audiograms, and our TikTok is going to be populated soon. But our episodes are now also available on YouTube.
Yes.
So you can find the Strongly Worded Pod on YouTube as well. Johnny, as always, it was a pleasure.
Yes. Can't wait till the next thing happens, and we'll do another special.
And we'll do, yeah. I don't know if we'll have any more special episodes.
Maybe not.
I hope not. You know what? I don't think it would be a bad deal if we didn't have a reason
exactly
for a special episode. We're dropping this on a Monday for you to enjoy. Please do not miss our download on Wednesday. We have a super awesome, we recorded with a super awesome guest, and you are not going to want to miss that interview on Strongly Worded Wednesday. All right. So thanks, everybody. This Strongly Worded podcast is written and produced by Johnny Hampton and Sue O'Lear. Music production and vocals by Marshall Max LaMont Hamilton, and cover art by Samantha Shakes.